There's a question that comes up a lot in the work that I do, and honestly, in my own lived experience as well. It sounds something like, am I actually healing or am I just going in circles? Because you might know, you're doing the work, you're becoming more aware, you understand your patterns, and then suddenly, an old reaction shows up again. Maybe you shut down, maybe you get overwhelmed and avoid. Maybe you snap in a moment of frustration. Maybe that inner voice of self-criticism gets loud again. And in that moment, it could feel really discouraging. Like, wait, I thought I moved past this. But here's something I've been learning again and again, not only personally, but through working with others. The goal isn't to stay calm all the time. Life is dynamic. Emotions are dynamic. Being human is dynamic. So instead of measuring our growth by how calm we can stay, what if we measure it by our capacity to meet what's happening without disconnecting from ourselves? Because that's really what starts to shift over time. It's not that the old patterns never show up again. It's that when they do, something is different. You might notice it sooner. You might have a little more space around it. You might pause where you used to react automatically. And in that pause, there's a choice between going into the familiar pattern that once helped you cope or staying present with what's here, even if it's uncomfortable, as long as it feels supportive and safe enough to be with. And that's where the work really lives. Not in perfection, not in never getting triggered again, but in the moment of awareness and what you do with that awareness. Sometimes that looks like just slowing down and breathing. Sometimes that looks like letting yourself feel what's there instead of pushing it away at a pace that your body and your nervous system can actually stay with. Sometimes it looks like reaching out for support instead of isolating. Sometimes it looks like naming what you're experiencing instead of judging yourself for it. These things might seem like small things, but they're not insignificant, because every time you stay with yourself instead of abandoning yourself in a way that honors your capacity in that moment, you're building something. You're building trust. You're building safety in your own system. You're building the ability to meet life as it is without needing to escape it. And that's what regulation actually is. It's not about being calm all the time. It's about your ability to move through states, to feel activated and come back, to feel overwhelmed and come back, to feel disconnected and come back, over and over again. That cycle, that's not failure. That is the process. Because healing isn't linear. It's more of like a spiral. You may come back to similar feelings, similar patterns, but each time you meet them with a little more awareness, a little more capacity, a little more compassion. And over time, something begins to shift. You might notice that these moments of activation, overwhelm, or disconnection happen a little less often. Or when they do, they don't feel quite as intense. Or you're able to come back to yourself a little more quickly. And over time, that changes your relationship to yourself. You begin to realize, I can feel this and not lose myself in it. I can be with discomfort and not immediately react or shut down. I have options here. And that realization is powerful because it shifts you out of helplessness and into agency. Not control over everything that happens, but choice in how you meet it. So if things feel messy right now, if old patterns are still showing up, if you find yourself questioning whether you're making progress, nothing is broken. That is what growth actually looks like. It's not always obvious from the outside, but internally, every moment you notice a pattern, pause, and choose differently, you're expanding your capacity. You're strengthening your relationship with yourself. You're learning how to stay connected even in discomfort. And that's the work. Not to eliminate every challenge, but to meet life as it comes, with more presence, more awareness, and more support for yourself along the way. One moment at a time, one choice at a time, one experience at a time. And over time, that adds up to something real. A deeper sense of stability, a greater sense of trust, and a growing ability to stay with yourself, no matter what arises.